Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to Echo. We have reached Wednesday on Jenna's route. Yeah. Oh, hey. He clutches a cell phone, the screen shattered, and the metallic innards exposed. No texting. Let's talk. But I can't. Have you decided on what you're gonna do after school? Don't worry about it right now. I've still got a few months to decide. Go into the bathroom. I'll be right back. Despite being shattered, the phone in his hand lights up. I see something flash on the screen. Hey boy, where you at? From Jared. I miss you. Call me now. Oh, it's called now. Hello? Are we supposed to pick that up? Phone's ringing. Ah, fuck. I find myself panting, sitting upright in the bed of our motel room. My phone is vibrating against the nightstand. Reaching over, I grab it and hit the answer button, my eyes still too hazy with sleep to read the caller ID. Hello? Hey. I catch the distinctive baritone rumble on the other end. Leo? That's me. You just waking up? I thought you were going to film for your project before we hit the mall. Squinting at the screen of my phone, I see that it's 9:02 AM. Additionally, I realise that Jenna is staring at me from her bed, the covers up to her chest and her laptop in her lap. The sound of running water must mean that TJ's in the bathroom taking one of his legendary long showers. I'm on spring break. I'm not really imposing too strict of a schedule on myself. I yawn, trying to snap my focus fully back into reality. Despite having slept for at least 10 hours, I don't feel rested at all. Lazy otter. Alright, I just called to let you college kids know that I'll be at the motel in about 10 minutes. Great. What? Nothing. Chase. What? I'm hanging up now. I need to put on some clothes. I'll see ya. I set my phone back down on the nightstand and slide out the bed. Still rubbing my eyes a bit, I dig through my duffel bag for a decent outfit. As I put out a pair of khaki cargo shorts, I hear Jenna clearing her throat. Are you still dealing with sleep paralysis? Huh? You woke up sweating pretty loudly. I'm surprised TJ didn't leap from his shower to check up on you. I feel a twinge of embarrassment. Oh, it wasn't paralysis this time, just regular bad dreams and such. Also, Leo's going to be here in 10 minutes. You might want to get dressed. I see her type something quickly upon her laptop before shutting it. She slides it out of sight beneath the nightstand. I guess she doesn't trust the cleaning staff. Do you still see a therapist? Nah, I'm not sure the one in Paynton helped, and you know how things are at Pueblo. Everyone's got a mental disorder or something. It's kinda trendy, and no one takes you seriously. That's just the stuff Leo says. They have free counselling services available, running out of the psychology department. You don't pay all that tuition money for nothing. You might as well use it. Well, do you go? I slide on an old t-shirt with Southwestern Adventures printed on the front, the red dye having faded to pink at this point. No. But I don't suffer from hallucinations, sleep paralysis, or night terrors. Please tell me you're at least still taking your medication. None of that helped, so no. Chase. I catch the look she gives me. It's different from her usual, almost paternal stare. Her brows lifted, and she seems more than just concerned, a glimmer of worry present upon her face. I find myself turning away from her abruptly, as if I'd seen something I shouldn't have. Trying to keep myself busy with something, I take a bagel from our little communal sack of food on the table, eating it over a napkin. I can hear TJ at this point, trying to dry himself off in the bathroom with the cheap motel dryer. It isn't exactly a full body machine like the ones back in Pueblo, so it takes forever. Especially someone third like TJ. He turns into a damn puffball after a minute in one of those things. Meanwhile, Jenna busies herself with getting dressed behind me. I don't know why this feels so awkward. Usually, Jenna is the one person who I can speak with and not worry about this sort of thing. There's someone knocking on the door. Hello? Wolf Boy is here. Just a minute. I step over toward the bathroom door. Hey, TJ, Leo's at the door. Hurry up if you can. What? Leo is at the door? Oh, okay. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'll hurry. Glancing over, I see the door handle jiggle. It's still locked. Man's still knocking. Not very patient, is he? Never was. The knocking continues, and I hear Jenna sigh. She moves from the corner of her bed to the door, unlocking and opening it. It's at this point I realise that she isn't fully dressed yet, her body covered only by a pair of bra and panties. Leo starts to say something, but the words visibly catch in his throat as he realises Jenna's state of undress. His jowls visibly thin along the contours of his muzzle, his auburn eyes flicking briefly to me and then back to the fennec in front of him. You said you'd be here at 9:30, Leo. What's your problem? Leo blinks. What's my problem? Why are you naked? Because you wouldn't stop pounding on the door, and I didn't want to deal with the creepy guy at the front desk yelling at us. Now wait outside, like Chase said, just a minute. Poochie. Oh, okay, Jenna shuts the door. That's it. I stare, awestruck, Jenna moving back to her suitcase of clothes and rifling through it. Chase, you want to bring that snack bag with us to the mall? I think I have some peanut butter pretzels in there. It takes her only a moment for her to slip on her familiar black tank top and shorts. She sits back on the edge of the bed, taking a small comb from one of the drawers and grooming her head fur, despite the fact that it looks perfect already. TJ emerges from the bathroom, his fur not adequately combed and giving him a sort of lion's mane look that usually only punk guys go for. I smirk a little as I grab up the bag of food, TJ frowning at me self-consciously. I thought we were in a hurry? It's alright, TJ, don't worry. There's no need to rush. It's interesting that Leo gets kicked out, but Jenna's really comfortable with Chase, in like her getting changed and stuff. Don't we have to get Cole all his birthday stuff before the party this afternoon, though? Yeah, but this is Cole we're talking about. He doesn't wake up till mid-afternoon. If we show up too early, he'll be too groggy to realise what's happening. That's true. Not really sure how I feel about the whole early surprise party idea anyway. But it does give us an excuse to check out the comic book store at the mall, yeah? I want to visit the music store. There's a new Cherry Bloom album out, and I'd like a physical copy. He pauses, TJ seeming to be in the midst of trying to push down his excess floof. If we have time, I mean. Jenna nods, picking up her phone and purse before heading to the door. And we follow. Alright, let's take a ride. All I'm saying is that it's real stupid that you all drive all the way back here just to hang out with each other alone. Even Carl and Flynn are sticking together by themselves, yeah? You can all do that when you three are not on break. Leo stares ahead, poking his tongue against the inside of his cheek, eyes squinted against the rising sun. His lecture is answered with resounding silence. Even TJ doesn't chime in. He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth. This is primarily due to Flynn's behaviour, you know. You should put your pride aside. Really? Oh god. I see TJ slide down some into the back seat. Leo insisted I sit shotgun, so I can't really hide as well. I'm saying that even if you don't like Flynn a whole lot right now, he wins if we can't fucking get over his tantrums. Flynn wins if we continue to put up with his awfulness. He's older than all of us and still acts like a child. He needs to apologise, to become aware that his actions have consequences. Ignoring the problem like it isn't there helps no one. That mindset is why I had you speak to Chase early on. Oh god. You sure are insistent on that, aren't you? It sounded like you got an agenda or something. I see the wolf glance sidelong toward me, his expression briefly softening. Why would I have an agenda to separate you from Chase? He's 21. He can make the decision on his own. I just didn't want to have to deal with you two prancing around it the whole time. Wouldn't be the first time, girly. TJ is practically on the floor at this point. He's so far down into his seat. Leo glances over at me again. I can tell my lack of response is starting to put him on edge. Honestly though, I've got no idea what to say. You two have decided on your relationship status, right? It's been years, and you're still wearing that bracelet. Come on, let's not have that talk while we're all trapped in a vehicle for the next 30 minutes. Don't worry, Otter. I'm not going to drive us over a guardrail or something. At this point, that might be preferable to continuing the conversation. Another silence follows, and I can feel Jenna's expectant stare upon the back of my neck. Finally, Leo speaks. I'm going to put on some music, yeah? Any preferences? We don't get any stations but the Hillbilly Cavalcade ones between Echo and Peyton. Well, I've got a CD here. My curiosity piques. I see Leo look toward me and then nod to the glove box with a smirk tugging at the corner of his muzzle. I think I know exactly what CD he's thinking of. I pull the little clasp on the dashboard. Instead of a CD, a slew of balled up napkins fall into my lap. I don't think much of it until I spy the mostly empty bottle of water-based lube sitting in the glove box. Are they your wank tissues? Ugh, gross! Leo looks over and his eyes go wide. Puta madre, oh fuck. He makes a sound somewhere between a sigh and nervous laughter. Oh, I forgot about that. Jenna cranes her head to see what the fuss is about, and she lets out an amused grunt. That's nothing you haven't had in your hands before, Chase. Ugh. Leo's ears seem downright flushed at this point, pinned to the side of his head. Context is key, as they say, yeah? Alright guys, there's a trash thingy back here. TJ unbuckles and reaches forward, collecting at least 9 balled up tissues in his paws. We all look on in horror. TJ, put those down? TJ doesn't know. He's too pure. Sure is empty. It is Wednesday morning. We're like the only car in the back parking lot though. It's kinda spooky. I ain't afraid of no parking lot. Leo smiles, looking back at us as if waiting for applause. Only thing that scares me anymore is college debt. Makes me glad I'm not going to college then. Oh, don't say that. I catch up and walk alongside the others. It's strange seeing all these parking spaces completely unused. Why not? I mean, what if you want to make a career change? I'll join the army. That way, if I do want to go back to school, it'll be real cheap with the whole GI Bill. It's unsettling, that's the route so many have to take to get educated. Isn't like I got a nifty tribal association scholarship. I decide this is a good time to interject. I hope this place is actually open. We approach the doors, Leo looking back at us. Moment of truth. He tugs it once, doesn't budge. Stupid thing. It says push. Okay, the wolf nudges the door open with one arm. Oh yeah, I know, it's just, TJ giggles. Oh. I remember this place feeling so much bigger as a kid. Nowadays, it feels kinda claustrophobic. Might just be Pueblo spoiling me though. Oh geez, not very busy at all. Everything's shuttered. Internet shopping exists now, Tej. Oh yeah, I figured, but it's just kinda sad, that's all. The Lynx steps off toward one of the closed shops, the perforated steel roller shutters allowing just enough visibility to peek in. This used to be the mask shop. I don't think Cole needs any masks, unless he's got a secret bank robbing life that we don't know about. Leo smiles lopsidedly. You know, he might actually want a Lucha Wolf mask or something. I remember as a kid, Cole always spouted off random wrestling facts. The fake kind though, and most of it sounded more like soap opera storylines than the actual sport. I never really got into it. But it was still funny back whenever we were facing some problem and Cole's trademark motivational catchphrase was to suplex it. Internet modem not working, suplex it. Fishing pole tangled in line, suplex it. Having to deal with a bully, suplex him. It was the only thing Sydney and him both got along over. They don't really make those sorts of things for round faces, Otter. I don't think he'd actually wear it, it's more like a collectible. He has enough of that sort of stuff already. His room is already a cluttered mess, we'd just be adding to the pile. Cole sent me a picture of it over Christmas, and it looks exactly the same as it did when we were in high school. It reminds him of better times, I suppose. Yes, but the issue is that he doesn't actually leave his room to make some new better times for himself. He just dwells on nostalgia for video games that I haven't touched since I was 12. Yard sailing a lot of the junk might do him some good. Leo chuckles, rubbing his forehead. Happy birthday, Cole. Instead of giving you a gift this year, we're going to sell your shit off. I see Jenna smile, letting out a little amused huff before moving on. I realise that TJ is still standing in front of the closed mask shop. Hey, you coming? I see him bristle, startled from thought and pulled back into reality. Oh yeah, sorry. I just knew a girl who worked here. I hope she's okay. I nod, not really sure what to say in response to that as the feline catches up to us. We pass even more shuttered stops. Most of the pagozas are still open, but they're manned mainly by really foreign dudes who are transfixed on their cell phones. I don't blame them either. In a place like this, the shift hours must drag on. I was fortunate enough to have a part-time job as a paid newspaper printer in high school, and it kept me pretty busy. Plus, I got to tell people that I worked for the city paper. Oh, the music store's gone. That's probably the least surprising closure yet. I really like physical stuff though. My mum and dad sent me this vinyl record player for my birthday. My other doormates and I listen to it in the common room all the time. Tej, are you a hipster now? I see TJ blink, turning to look at Leo a little wide-eyed. What? No. I don't know, Gatito. Cherry Bloom is pretty underground. They're one of the top-selling alternative music artists of the 2000s. Alternative is just another word for indie, dude. I bet TJ has an aesthetic blog. What? I don't even know what that is, but yeah, it sounds like something TJ would have. Jenna covers her muzzle with her paw, stifling her snicker. Usually she's the one to put a stop to any TJ ribbing going on, but I suppose this is light-hearted enough where she doesn't mind. It's okay, TJ. I enjoy having physical copies of things as well, especially now that I'm living alone in Pueblo. I don't have to worry about anyone going into my room and pawning my stuff. She says it so nonchalantly, but I remember how horrible and common that problem was for her. Leo and Flynn helped her install a lock on her door, but then her parents just took the door itself away a week later. I'm not looking forward to having to pack it all up for the move to Weston, though. I'll stop by and help you pack when the time comes. I say that with a bit more finality than intended, and it makes me feel a little bit sad. It's like Jenna and I barely ever hung out while we had the chance, and now we might never again. That would be nice of you, Chase. Thank you. I force a smile and nod. She perks a brow in my direction. As TJ and Leo have a back and forth about how many times the lynx has worn flannel, Jenna hangs back a bit to walk alongside me. She reaches over, gingerly grabbing onto my wrist. I feel her thumb rub across my forearm like it's electricity, the fur standing up around my collar. At first I think she's just trying to get my attention, which she certainly now has, but her touch is more reassuring than firm. I watch Leo gesticulate wildly, with his back turned in front of me, and I can feel my heart thud in my chest. I expect Jenna to say something, but she's completely silent. God, I'm the guy here. I'm the one supposed to be taking charge with this sort of thing, right? But here I am, pink-eared, like a blushing bride, having my wrist held by a girl. My nostrils flare some and I pull away, Jenna giving me an indiscernible look. I reach over and fully take her paw in mine, squeezing some. A wry expression crosses her face, and I feel her hip bump into my thigh. She's so short, but she certainly doesn't act like it in any way. The stereotype about meek Phoenix is completely untrue. Oh, damn it. She wriggles free from my grasp with surprising deftness, pointing ahead. Sure enough, Birchfire Comics is completely gone, the interior dark and empty behind the chain-link roller grille. She sighs, crossing her arms over her chest. Her turquoise eyes shift sideward. Shit, that sucks. Sorry, Jenna. She straightens suddenly and walks ahead of me. I'm gonna go with TJ and find him a bathroom to wash his paws. I see her walk up beside the two in front of us. She nudges TJ, says something to him and Leo before they move off in the direction of the food court. I can't believe TJ's about 20 years old at this point and still getting babied by her. Leo's left standing there, his paws in his pockets and his face devoid of expression. He looks back at me, putting on a tepid smile. Want to check out Familyplex? I shrug non-committally. You guys said it yourself. There's no rush. I'm hit with realisation and I furrow my brow up at him. You heard that? He just maintains his smile and beckons me along before turning. So, despite being open, the Plex certainly doesn't look like it should be. The carpet's musty, everything smells like mildew, the game machines are decades old, and the roller rink is scratched up all to hell. Leo stops next to a claw prize machine and fishes around in his pocket for quarters. What's the aesthetic blog? It takes me a moment to register what he's asking, and I can't help but be tickled a bit by the question. I know for a fact that Leo spends a lot of time on the internet, but mainly on mainstream sites, sports, music, that sort of thing. It's like an ongoing online page that you update with stuff like corresponds to a mood or feeling. He slides 2 quarters into the machine and then grabs the control stick. A few lights on the machine begin to go and flash, moving in a pattern around the glass window. About half of the bulbs are burnt out. Oh, I've got one of those. You do? Yeah, but it's mainly porn though. He makes a lewd jerking motion with the control stick, and I'm put at a slight unease noting that this machine is meant for children. Well, better than storing it all in your sample music folder, I suppose. I actually got caught with that, you know. Damn it, I told you. Yeah, Otter, I know. My little nephew, Eduardo, wanted to play games on my computer, and he started clicking around on the recent files thing. Oh god, Leo, he's like 10. He furrows his brow, moving the crane some absently. He's 13. His dad is your really religious brother too, right? Yeah. Jesus. Hey, ain't nearly as bad as getting caught cock in paw by the Padres while watching Fox Horse gay porn. I cringe, covering my face. Hey, look. I pull my paws away from my face to see Leo point to something in the machine. I squint, and in the midst of puzzle cubes and spinner toys, a boxed Lucha Wolf figure rests. Leo shifts his gaze toward me and grins. I see him navigate the crane perpendicular with the box's point of rest. He hits the lowering button. The metal claw descends into the pit of cheap toys, clenching down upon the cardboard edge of the box. It tugs at it slightly, but it loses its grasp and returns to its point of rest. Ah, shit. Let me have a go. I reach into my back pocket for my wallet, but Leo's already putting 2 more coins in. He gestures to the machine and tips an invisible hat in my direction. I find myself rolling my eyes a little as I take position. Thanks. I decide this time I'm going to try and grab it from one of the corners. It might not be enough to pick it up completely, but it will put it from the rest of the toy pile for future tries. Speaking of, I try to line up the crane just right, eyeing through the dusty glass from multiple angles to get a good idea of positioning. Now that I don't have you so anchored down, or however the fuck you want to see it as, I pause, my paw over the lower button. You let any other guys fuck you at Pueblo? Any big stallion types like the ones in your porn? The tone in his voice is definitely one that I haven't heard in years. It seems to carry an extra intense edge. Christ, Leo, no. You haven't had sex in 3 years? You must be really pent up, eh? He laughs breathily. I exhale, trying to keep my nerve. I go ahead and press the button, the crane lowering the claw down once again. You don't have to lie to me, yeah? I just want the truth. The claw pushes the box down further, it seeming to have different levels of how low it starts grasping. However, it doesn't even grasp this time. The crane just keeps lowering the claw. We can't even see the figurine anymore, not that Leo's paying any attention. If you like girls now, you can tell me. I feel him now, his thighs against my behind, the familiar firmness upon the small of my back. I stare at the machine. The claw still hasn't come up yet. Leo. His paw takes my hip. Could he fuck off? What? Wow. Leo's paws are off me now. The wolf turns to face the others. How long have you two been here? Long enough. I was just trying to... I thought you were better than this sort of behaviour, Leo. This was a private conversation, eh? That Chase clearly didn't want to be a part of. Well, I didn't know that until just now. He looks back at me, his eyes are wide, and his shoulders are raised up higher, the wolf visibly tense. I'm still reeling from what just happened, from Leo's behaviour, and from my own words. I say nothing. He sucks in his gels, trying to put on a smile. We found a present for Cole in the crane machine. Lucha guy, yeah? TJ leans to peer inside the machine. I don't see it. The claw and crane are back in their starting positions. Yeah, well, Tudor here beside me must have buried it somehow. Buried it? You know what I mean, Tej. He shrugs, visibly not knowing what Leo means. Jenna gives Leo a look I don't quite catch before stepping up to the machine. She squints, looking over the pile of toys. No, I see it. That green and purple cardboard thing, in the middle, beneath the Mothman plushie. She reaches into her purse, sifting through for a moment before finding 2 quarters. We all just sort of stand there, staring at her as the lights flash around the window, illuminating her features with golden glow. She fiddles with it a lot longer than I did, 30 seconds passing before she actually hits the lower button. The claw descends, pushing through the muck of plush and plastic. The sound of metal scraping the box is audible, even if it is difficult to see what's happening. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see that Leo's facade of a smile has completely dissipated. He looks at me, though his gaze is unfocused. It's like he's trying to numb himself, but it isn't working. The claw finally lifts, the metal prongs clutching the central mass of the figurine container and carrying it to the drop slot. With a satisfying clunk, the box falls in and the crane returns to its default position. Leo's form stiffens. He stares at the machine, Jenna, and then me again. He crosses his arms, and I can see his face start to shake, his eyes clenched shut. I'll be in the fucking van. As he leaves, Leo smacks a nearby pinball machine so hard the glass cracks. TJ stands there with his paws behind his head, more agape. And so the real Leo reveals himself. Oh my goodness. TJ walks over to the pinball machine, bending down to gather up what splintered glass there is in the front of his shirt. I watch Leo trudge off around the corner, though I can still hear his heavy footfalls for a while after. I wait a bit, just to make sure he's really gone. Jenna meanwhile steps up, handing me the boxed figurine. So, is there a crappy boardwalk game that you can't beat? Despite what just happened, I see a flicker of a smile tug at the corner of her lips. Well, all you have to do is hook the claw where the cardboard meets the plastic. Her gaze shifts from the broken glass on the tacky carpet to the crane machine. That way, it gets latched in the grooves of the box and doesn't drop. I had a lot of practice with my summer job, but you did most of the work for me by putting it into position. Good job. She moves past me, patting my back some before kneeling down beside TJ and helping him clean up. I turn to face her again. You should be the one to give it to Cole. After all, you're the one who won it for him. No, then I'd be a hypocrite after what I said earlier about his clutter problem. He'll like this from you, though. Yeah, I guess. We should probably hurry before someone besides us decides to visit them all. I peer around, checking to make sure that we're the only people in here still. I see a coffee sitting on the service desk, so whoever's managing the place today might be back soon. And before Leo decides to drive off without us. He wouldn't do that. TJ gathers the glass from his shirt and places it in the small pile on the bench nearby, and Jenna does the same. Yeah, well, I'd rather not tempt the odds of the potential 30-mile outside city limits cab fare. Should we leave some money for the pinball machine repair? No, TJ, it's alright. None of us should have to deal with Leo's mess more than we already have. Leo. Oh, you got told to back down. I rest my head against the passenger window as I balance the cheap fast food place red velvet cake in my lap. This is one of the most awkward car rides I've ever been in. Everyone's completely silent, TJ's previous attempts to lighten the mood having been received with idle grunts and nods. My stomach hurts, and I have this nauseous feeling that keeps bubbling up when I think about what happened. Leo and I have squabbled in the past, sure, but never like this. Most of the time we fought about video game shit, politics, sports. The worst it ever got was when the topic of leaving Echo came up. I danced around answering it for as long as I could, and the truth came out in the worst way possible. But now's different. I've never felt such contempt for him before like I did when he pressed against me, interrogating me like I belonged to him. He probably thought that I just bend over against the crane machine, for old time's sake. Watching him from the corner of my eye now, I see him trying to keep his ears up, but they keep pinning back down. I'm stuck in this shitty feeling of being pissed at Leo and being ashamed of myself. He shouldn't have acted that way, but I know I just hurt him in a manner that I haven't done in a long time. Being stuck in a car with someone who's thinking about you and you're thinking about them, and you're both hurting, it's hell. I really wish I brought my headphones. I stare out the window as we roll down the first dirt road into Echo. Every street, every corner, every trailer and every tree has a memory attached to it. There, in the middle of this dusty parking lot that belonged to the corner market, is this tiny stand. That used to be where I'd get ice cream after begging for $1 from my parents. It's crumbled and boarded up now, the paint peeling off in tiny chips. And there in front of Duke's house is a big flat rock that Jenna was standing on when she told me she was going to run away from home. I can still remember almost exactly how she was silhouetted against the red sunset behind her. And the old train yard where I kissed Leo for the first time, after staying up all night at our first real party. I look over at Leo. He's got one hand on the wheel, glancing up at the rearview mirror occasionally. He hasn't so much as looked at me since family pecs, though I see him staring at Jenna now. She catches his gaze, somehow returning it with an even more curt look. Cole probably still isn't even awake yet. Do you have a plan if he doesn't answer the door? We'll call him. And what if he doesn't answer his phone? Will you shatter the window too? Leo's muzzle pulls into a snarl. I hear him mutter something that I can't quite discern. He shifts focus back on the road, his knuckles tight on the steering wheel. TJ gives another go at trying to fill the silence. Well, I don't think this will go too badly. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that. I agree, TJ. Though I do think that this is perhaps a bit poorly planned. It should be an alright time. I haven't been to Cole's in so long. The car starts slowing down, and I snap out of my daydreaming to look up, knowing that we definitely weren't at Cole's house yet. That's when I see a canine figure standing further up on the side of the road. She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of a broken and rusted barbed wire fence. I think that's Janice. I look over at Leo and he seems concerned. His brows furrowed as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, elbows on her knees, staring at the ground. Roll down your window, Chase. I do as he says, struggling a little with the old crank handle. What is she doing out here? I come to a stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust. I dunno. Hey! TJ rolls down his window as well, waving. Hey, Janice. Leo leans over me and looks out at her. She's still looking at the ground. Everything all... Leo's voice cuts off in a weird choking sound. I look at him confused, and then look back out the window and I can't help myself but a gasp. It was hard to tell from that angle, and all the dust kicked up by the van, but now I can see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly and avert my eyes, looking at the windshield instead. Oh my god, Leo, keep going. Jenna whispers it, her voice strained. Sorry, Leo stops talking, and I chance a glance out the window again. Janice is looking at us now, and she's smiling. It's a weird smile, because it isn't touching her eyes. It's unnerving. Leo stares back. Leo, let's just go. I hiss out the side of my mouth, staring out the windshield again. He seems reluctant to, though, looking concerned. Janice, do you need some help? His tone is one you might use on a toddler or a crazy person. I don't hear her say anything, though, except maybe a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though. We can give you a ride. Leo stops talking in time for me to hear a pattering sound, a sound I recognise well from being a kid pissing on the dirt roads of Echo. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smoother acceleration onto the empty road. What in God's name? I don't know. Leo's frowning, looking as confused as I've ever seen him. Should I go back? No. I look back and see TJ covering his face. Maybe she's having some kind of psychotic episode? Maybe she just really had to go. I'm like that after a ton of caffeine sometimes. TJ, I'm fairly certain you haven't peed yourself in front of anyone since Mrs. Moeda's Thanksgiving play. And you certainly weren't smiling at the audience while you were at it. Please don't talk about that now. I don't think so. Did you see the way she looked at me? She was probably just on something. Isn't everyone? No, she doesn't do stuff like that. Well, maybe she does. You never know with people. Again, Leo doesn't say anything, and neither does anybody else, and we don't go back. Okay, that was awkward as hell, but I think we're going to leave this one here for now. This is the show signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.